Okay, let's see who we're gonna do next here. Gemini, why did I have a feeling that you were coming up? Gemini, this is we're gonna just do mid-July. I figure that we should finish off using the July things, the cards and all that stuff. We're going to use the Light Seer's Tarot. You might have seen because, I was already getting my camera ready. Oh, I'm recording. Yes, of course I can. Okay, please check the description box for everything that you need to know, including where you can find there's a place that I've listed that I've been using for like decades now for natal charts. It's the most comprehensive. You do need to know time you were born if you want to know your rising sign. We're going to start with the magnetic poetry for you, followed by past, present, future spread. In the future, I will be doing different spreads, promise you. In August, I will, absolutely. Followed by the Rebel deck, Oracle, and the I Am Power Pack for an affirmation. But let's start. Get a pen and a piece of paper out and find out what your affirmations from the magnetic poetry are for the rest of. Oh, I guess we have to take those now, don't we? For the rest of July. Okay. Yes, it is the summer. In the summertime. I was just thinking to myself about that song as soon as I saw that, the summertime. In the summertime. So that song might be a big thing for you. My nails are, I'm trying to get used to having longer nails, but pathetically enough, this is as long as they get. And why? So if you're looking for a yes, no to a question, why could be a yes, but also you could be dealing with somebody with a Y as one of their initials. Jot those puppies down. One of the reasons that I've actually embraced doing spreads like this is because you can zoom into the cards. If you'd like to, and then also you can see me shuffling the cards. And then on top of that, on days like today when I have more time, when I have more bandwidth to do readings, I don't have to worry about wearing makeup. It is the last day of my vacation. I did actually embrace the fact that it was vacation week for me. And I did sweet FA. You know what that stands for. Anyway. Yes, Light Seer's Tarot, Light Seer's, by Chris Ann, I believe is her name. This is a gigantic deck. It's not very easy to shuffle, so we're going to shuffle them like children. Well, maybe I could give it a shot, but look how thick that is. I have to split it in half to do it. Right. Like, let me illustrate what this is going to try to, I can't do it. I did start to do it with the Tattoo Tarot, but this is just, it's really, really high quality, very thick cardstock. Wish I would have had the first version of it because it had black edges or dark green edges, and I thought that was really cool. That was actually the reason I bought this deck, is because somebody else had a version that had the dark green edges. And I guess I could technically edge the deck myself, but don't do it with Sharpie, because I've done that before when I was making my own deck, because I do, use cardstock to make little oracle decks and stuff, and it gets all over your hands, so that's not a good idea, Anyway, one last shuffle. And then we will twist for fairness for you. Holy shit. Okay. Anyway, that was pretty piss poor pathetic. I only take flippers and jumpers, maximum of 3. In the past for you, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, what do we have to start? In the past for you. Okay. The moon. Okay. Sorry. I don't necessarily want you to think this is a negative card in and of itself. It's about confusion. You can see this person's below the surface of the waters, the dream state, the sleep state, the subconscious, the hidden realms, the things we keep hidden. I'm really getting the dreamy, ethereal part of this card more than anything else. Cancer energy for you on that, but it's kind of as if there's a gestation period here that you're kind of going through on something, you know. You're keeping something hidden below the surface, keeping your cards close to your chest, but you're not quite ready to surface with your feelings on something. I'm feeling that for you on this one. That's actually why I really like different interpretations of the Rider-Waite, because it gives off more freedom of interpretation for you. Can you tell that it's Mercury retrograde and that we're just coming out of it? I think it's stationed now, because I am like a little less than articulate. Anyway, Cancer energy on that, if I hadn't already said, I'm pretty sure I have. But it seems as if you got something that you're kind of in a space of meditation or contemplation, or just taking the time to yourself during the nights also, to really ponder, you know. Seems as if you got something that is on your mind and in your dreams, and has to do with the beginning of something of emotional significance. Could be the beginning of a relationship, could be a new friendship even, wondering where that's gonna go. You're wondering if somebody's wearing a mask in this new connection. Are they hiding something from you? Magician in the reverse. This is you. It could also be like, should you potentially, not necessarily, like I was saying before, holding all your cards close to your chest. When you're starting off on in a new connection, are you potentially thinking it might be a good idea to not necessarily reveal everything about yourself? This is in the recent past. Are you considering not letting somebody know everything about yourself at the beginning, you know? Being a little bit more mysterious. There's a little bit of a nefarious element to this, though, in the reverse, as if it is trickster energy. It's somebody who's not being honest about who they are, but there's illusion, as if somebody's fooling somebody into thinking they're something that they're not. So it could be that this is really denoting confusion. And at night you're spending your time pondering the confusion about a new connection where you feel like somebody's kind of taking the piss. You know? Virgo, Gemini energy on that one. Oh boy. I almost wanted to take the first card on the top, but I'm not going to. Alright. What else in the recent past for you, Gemini? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And if you're wondering how I choose which decks I use, I basically choose 4. And then whichever one I start out with, I kind of just put them on rotation until I finish all the zodiac signs. I stand at my tower of tarot, which is, you know, over my shoulder over there in the corner of my office. And I go, what decks do I want to use this month? I know that I did say I'm trying to use more colorful decks for the summer, but I did get this new deck I wanted to kind of start using just to kind of get used to the imagery on it, which I really like, but yeah. I don't get any tarot decks that I don't like the imagery or the artwork. I have a couple that I have that are gifts, because I used to at one point believe that you could only use tarot decks that people bought for you, but that was a long time ago, because I've been reading tarot since I was 15 years old. So I have some decks that I don't necessarily like the imagery on, but it's more because they were bought for me. I didn't necessarily choose, and that's why I started choosing my own decks. Okay. The Tower in the reverse. Yeah. Oh, shocking. You aren't necessarily surprised by this, so this isn't you. Okay. Scorpio energy here. It's not such a big surprise. It's not rocking any foundations here that this is somebody wearing a mask. I think probably because it's the beginning of a connection. You might have been feeling or even gotten some type of communication in your sleep about that. And then had an inkling about the beginning of a connection, or a connection that you just started out, that somebody was wearing a mask, or that they were faking something out, or that they weren't quite who they said they were, and they were doing it for a reason. Like there's almost a motive I'm kind of feeling here about them being like that. But it's like, haha, shocker. It's not really a shocker. You can kind of see through it. Yeah. With that, we have, whoops, 7 of Pentacles. Well, and your philosophy on this is, well, you reap what you sow. That's a pretty astute way to look at it, you know. The investments that you make back here at the beginning of things, you know, they either give you a nice, healthy, cute little bonsai tree, or you end up with a diseased, shitty tree, or you end up with a rotting seed underneath the soil that never really ends up panning out to anything. So that's a healthy approach to take when you end up with something like this at the beginning of the connection, you know. And actually, I think that is more a response to the surprise. This is an unexpected moment. It might even be an awkward type situation where you realize, or somebody gets busted for wearing a facade. And it's kind of like, surprise, surprise, you know, you're rolling your eyes, and you're kind of like, well, you reap what you sow, you know. You've got a very poetic approach to it, if you will. Off the heels of that, you're inspired to take action in a creative sense. There could be a project that you decide to take on, or an endeavor that you decide to embark upon. It's of a creative nature. You might just say, oh, well, you get what you deserve, but be going after that anyway. Because this is also the matchstick of the divine, if you will, and the phallic symbol of the tarot. So you might just be trying to get it in also. You might just end up playing the player here, if we were going to get into that type of interpretation. But I think more than anything else, off the heels of this, you're taking a rather philosophical viewpoint that's kind of like lighting a little bit of a fire for you creatively. And it's giving you an idea. Because this is really what the Ace of Wands is. It's the spark of an idea, an inspiration of some sort that really sets you on a new path of passion and inspiration. You know? In the present for you, Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have? Yeah, okay. While you seem inspired over here to kind of create because of all of this, it's not really motivating you to continue to nurture this connection. Because you kind of know what this person, well, not what this person's all about, but you understand that there are ulterior motives at play. I don't necessarily know the what of it, but you kind of get the who, where, when of it. Or like you kind of, you know what they're doing. You don't know why. Do you know? And so because of that, it's kind of got you in a space where you're not really willing to continue to nurture this connection that you just started out in the past here. But this is also a warning. And I think that a lot of tarot readers touch on it. You know, don't necessarily shut down. You don't want to shut down stuff here. All of the connections that are coming to you because of something crappy that happened. This is somebody who's got, this is like the depression card of the internet, the loss, the lack of interest. And this person's turned down all of these cups here, and they're not really interested in even one that may be extended from the hand of the divine, because they're depressed. They could care less. And the crappy part about that is that this one here is being rejected as almost a matter of habit at this point, because of what's happened up here as a result of what's happened up here. This person's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. If this is the way the game is going to be played, well, fuck it, I'm not playing. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I'm not going to entertain these, and I'm certainly not going to entertain any of them. Who gives a shit if it's this one or any of these? I don't want any of them. I'm not thirsty. That's what this is saying. You know? Like I said, though, be very careful about that, because you could miss out on something really great. We don't want to choose just for the sake of choosing. I think I just said that to Taurus. You could be a Taurus, Gemini, cusp individual. Sorry, I got iced coffee off camera here that I made. But at the same time, even though we don't want to choose just for the sake of choosing, we also don't want to completely keep ourselves closed off. Exercise discernment, you know, but don't completely wall yourself off, which is what's happening here in the present. Because you were duped up here. There's somebody that's coming to you in dreams also. I'm getting, the impression just came to me. Somebody is coming to you in the dream state. And it's a very vague thing. Somebody visits you in your dreams that you don't necessarily know yet. They're like a stranger. You ever have those dreams about people you don't know when you're waking, you've never met in your waking life, but they're very familiar to you in the dream state? What else? This person might have played on that, like, oh, I had a dream about you. You know? Or they like mine for information about you to become that person which you dream about. I don't know. Tell me more. Gemini. In the present, in the summertime, Two of Wands in the reverse. This person's getting very impatient with you in the present. That could be a part of the facade that's falling away. This person might have acted like they were the dream person for you. Patient, understanding, blah, 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 blah. And the facade's falling off in the recent past, but a part of it is that they're not necessarily super patient with you. They could also be losing patience for you in this connection, in the fact that it hasn't moved beyond the beginning stages, or that it's hit this stage here where you're like, yeah, you know, I could take it or leave it. You know, you can take your fucking cups and go home. I'm not thirsty. You know, I don't really feel like, you know, going out for drinks. I'm just gonna kind of sit here in the field and on this rock here, and you know. Yeah, I feel like this person is getting really impatient with you, that their connection isn't moving along, and I don't blame you for the connection not moving along. You're not necessarily feeling moving on to, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cups with this person. You're not looking to move on in the cups journey with them, and they're getting really pissed and impatient about why. Tell me more. So the mask is slipping further. You know, people can only keep up an act for a very finite amount of time if it's an act. The only way that people, you know, the only easy way to appear a certain way is when you're being genuine. You know, that's your sociopath, right? But because when you're being authentic, you don't have to keep up a facade. There's nothing to keep up. Right? Tell me more. Okay, the star in the reverse, Aquarian energy in the reverse. Ooh, okay. Leo season. We're in Leo. We're just on the cusp of Leo season as we speak. This person is telling you that they're giving up hope. But you have a lack of faith in them, actually. You lost faith in them. So they might be losing patience for you and the fact that things aren't moving forward. But, you know, you're validated in that because you lost faith in them. They could also have, you know, been somebody who had a lot to say about their past, but had also marketed themselves as somebody who did a lot of healing work. Baby, we're always healing. That's a lifelong journey, but doesn't seem like they healed so much. That becomes very apparent from a shocking event that happens in the past. So there was something that they did or said that physically, like either like figuratively or literally knocks you on your ass, but it's not as shocking as you might have initially, like as most people would assume. It's unexpected, but you kind of could see it coming, and it reveals just how much this person has, just how much further this person has to go in their healing journey. I think they marketed that they were somebody of faith when they weren't. Is another thing that's coming up here. But other than that, I think it's along the lines of them stating that they were healing, or that they had done a bunch of work on themselves after a really harrowing situation when they didn't really do any work at all. They thought time would do the work for them, potentially. I don't see the element of time here, but you know. Oh, what is this? I like that this landed here because it's going to need to be about this anyway. Yeah, there was conflict. There's a conflict, and there's going to be there's going to not an even bigger fight, but there was conflict associated with this unexpected event. So it's interesting. It kind of validates. I'm really sorry if this is a situation that involved actually dealing with physical violence. You need to not be in that situation at all anymore. Never entertain somebody who engages in physical violence with you. That's dangerous, and you should be looking for help. There are a lot of resources out there for that. But this, like I said before, 5 of Wands. Actually, I think Taurus had that up here. But 5 of Wands, got a bunch of guys, you know, screaming at each other, beating each other over the head with sticks. With this card, though, we see where these people are struggling with the sticks, trying to clamber all over each other to reach for the flame. It's still conflict. This person might have been somebody who has been accused of abuse or has abused other people. There's something here that's got to do with physical violence, and this person's like, I've changed. But it becomes extremely apparent rather quickly, like right off the jump, that this person has not changed. And the argument that's happening in the present has to do with what has been, the foundation has been laid, and any energy and time and monetary investment that's happened in the past. And if it was worth it or not. They could be kind of turning it around on you, saying, well, look at all of what I've invested. Tell me more. You have an idea of what you need to do in the past here. Hits in the third eye. Well, you know exactly what you want to do, but you may not necessarily like the answer. And they most certainly don't like the answer. 10 of Wands. Yeah, there's responsibility here. You feel it's your responsibility to indulge this person because of their response. Well, look at all of what I've invested. Look at all the time I've put into this. Look at all the energy I've put into this. You feel it's your responsibility and your duty to continue carrying the wands up the hill. It is not if it's this type of situation of what I've discussed here. There's an argument also about the responsibility that's being borne by one person over another. Like what's equitable, because you see 5 and then we have 10. Like one person's doing half the work of the other. But there's a great deal of conflict about the burden that's being carried. You don't necessarily expect this person. It's very surprising to you that this person has that viewpoint also. Like there's a lot of arguing about what's been sacrificed, who's put in what energy into what effort's been placed where, who's put in enough money, who's put in enough time, da 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 da, you know. Somebody was dishonest about who they were right from the beginning. But then there's a feeling as if you couldn't turn back because of what has been invested. You kind of already knew, though. You have an idea of what to do, but there's so much responsibility. Oh, isn't this a soap opera, right? 10s and 10s, okay, yeah. You're inspired by the amount of work that you've done, the investments that you've put in, and the responsibility that you carry to continue on to move into the direction of a happy home life. You know that the dream exists. And it's almost as if you have the belief and the idea and the inspiration to understand that it's possible. You get that far. I don't necessarily know that it's with the same person. It's very difficult to see something through to this when you begin like this. In the future. Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, there is some depression and reticence to continue on in a connection because there's been a collapse of a long-held philosophy, belief, institution, or tradition. It's collapsed, and so it's hard to believe in the magic of emotional connection because of that. Taurus energy in the reverse. Looking towards Libra season, there could also be the finality of a divorce or a split up of a connection. But again, this is more so about the collapse of traditions, philosophies, belief systems, incorrect advice from a counselor. You know, the collapse of the church, religious organizations, institutions. This is more about in connection with it. Like, it's almost as like as if there's a lack of patience for false belief and false, like, motivating somebody to go after something that they always knew wasn't true, that they always knew wasn't going to go somewhere. Okay. Pisces energy here on the Hanged Man. There can be a lack of direction when it comes to one's beliefs and just exactly what they want to stand for based on this. So moving into Pisces season, we have somebody who's really trying to, put themselves in other people's shoes and examine things from other viewpoints. Remember, this guy suspended himself on purpose because he wanted to see how the world looked from that perspective. You know? Got sick of waiting for other people to enlighten him, so he's enlightening himself, you see? Trying to regain his faith. Trying to reclaim some semblance of healing and path, sense of direction towards something that he can hold on to. What else? Gemini. He just doesn't know what anything is anymore. Doesn't know what to believe anymore. And back here isn't really interested in connecting with anyone on a romantic level because his fundamental beliefs have been challenged or rocked in some way. If he could put all of his effort and energy and start to really like focus on growing something and have it amount to this. When his idea and his inspiration is to have this, he's got to look at his beliefs and he wants to see what other people believe. What are other people experiencing? How does that stack up to his own beliefs? There's a broadening and expansion of mind that's being attempted here in particular. Let's see where we go from there. Yeah, they're broadening and expanding of the mind. We see from Pisces season through to Aries season with the Fool. This is the ability for somebody to be adventurous, to break out on their own and start the journey of learning and really, you know, break out there. You know, this is healthy. This hopefully is healthy risk taking, but it's setting out to figure something out about oneself. It's really good that this is happening after a period of evaluating what everybody else's viewpoints are, that this is happening, right? There's a bit of argument that ensues as a result. It's almost like this person is having to justify why they should be able to take a risk and kind of break free. I'm hearing break free. I was going to say break out, but break free. This individual here is, you see this amethyst in their hand. You'll have to look it up. I haven't been studying my gemstones in a long time, but amethyst is very important. This person's really looking to take the dive and do something different and break away and break free. And, you know, when you keep your world small, your ideas remain small. Your viewpoint narrows, and that's not good. So this person is, you know, looking to expand their viewpoint, expand their world, and this is the most successful way that they know how to do so, is to be adventurous, to take a journey of some sort. I don't actually see a physical journey, but this is the first steps towards learning something new and becoming something more, an expansion of one's world. Because, you know, up here in the present, there's a lot of restlessness here and feeling as if there's no faith and hope and more extended path to follow, right? It's an experiencing of life. This person intuitively knows they need to take this. Here we have Cancer, so this is chronological. This stretch here, there's you. It's going to result, intuitively, this person knows that on this journey they're going to meet the person they dream about here. The connection, the choice, the choice to take on additional responsibility and burden, the choice to fight for something. Intuitively, they know that if they break out and they go on the adventure, they expand their mind, their path, their world, and that they break out and they start a journey of self-discovery. They intuitively know that this is going to open up their heart space, and it's going to open up a world of emotional fulfillment for them that they only preside over. The arguments and stuff cease to be when you have a clear understanding of what you will and will not allow the lid of this cup to be disturbed by. And in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, this Queen of Cups has a lid. She's the only one with a lid on her cup, and she is the only one who can open that or remove it, right? So yes, followed by the Lovers, Gemini energy. The choice to have happiness. Happiness is a choice, and happiness in love also is a choice. However, you know, you have to choose to fight for your love. You have to choose to, you know, happily carry the burdens and responsibilities to have that. And you have to know when to be yielding of the heart space and to be protective of the heart space intuitively, and not allow anybody else. Defend it. proudly. Well, I think, you know, also appropriately, don't take risks just for the sake of risk taking. Kind of like I had said before, don't choose just for the sake of choosing. You know, exercise discernment. Same here. Don't take, and this is also something I said in the Taurus reading, don't take risks simply to say, I don't want to regret anything, because oft we end up still regretting something. I know, because Aries, that's me. Aries rising, of course. But nonetheless, risk-taking involves a ton of regret, you know? So, Page of Pentacles is the final card here for you in your future for the end of July. And do remember, this is not like your life. You know, this is just 2 weeks. But we do have the Page of Pentacles here in the reverse. This is remembering that you're not a consolation prize. I think this is really more of a direct translation thing. You are not a choice, you are the choice. You are not a consolation prize. You are not second place. When, you know, somebody else, a connection with somebody else didn't pan out, you are somebody's 10 of Cups. And you have to also realize that it's not just about looking outward and seeing who is your 10 of Cups and who is worth 10 Wands and, you know, all of that other shit. It is also realizing that you are worth carrying 10 Wands for, and that you are somebody's 10 of Cups. And you are not a consolation prize. Anybody who tells you that you are like the guy who came along after other shit didn't work out with other people, so you just ended up together, well, that's not fucking good enough, you know? Like I had said, you are not a choice, you are the choice. And, you know, it takes decades to learn that for a lot of people. I think we have a running theme with our Geminis. It's been like a couple of years where it's been like that. But I think that this is a lesson that's going to be learned for you through walking the path, and it's going to become apparent to you when somebody actually sits you down and tells you that they don't have something for you, that they don't have something to offer you, that you don't have something to offer them. This is oftentimes would be a lack of communication of worth, but also could be somebody communicating what you don't have to offer, or somebody communicating a lack of worth that you present, or something like that. It's just, normally this is a tangible gift also, but pages are always communicators. So it's usually a message of communication about something. And when it's in the reverse, it's about, no, I can't offer you my time. I can't offer you my energy. You're not worth my time or my energy. It's also, yeah, I don't have anything to offer you. I don't have anything to give you. You remember, pentacles are always tangible things. They're things that we can say that we either spent or want to get back. I want to spend my time, my effort, my energy, my money, or I want to get back my time, my effort, my energy, my money, you know? So remember that. And so this is like a point of realization. I think here intuitively you already knew. And it kind of validates the fact that you're willing to break out on your own journey and be your own person. And unfortunately, I think you had to walk a path up here and go through all of this stuff in order to come to this realization. You already knew it here, but you had to wait for somebody to reveal themselves, which here they do. Anyway, let's take a look at your Rebel deck, Oracle, and then we'll get you an affirmation and be done with it. What do we have for Gemini? Some no bullshit advice for Gemini. Again, this is the Rebel Oracle. Oh, here, that's pretty apt. This is their Insta. This is also one of the this is the last card in the Oracle deck. So, but I actually found this deck on Insta during the pandemic, and I thought it was pretty damn cool. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody use it. I think maybe one reader. I can't even remember who they were. Let's see. What do we have for Gemini? What advice do we have for Gemini? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. That was fast. Okay, well, that's along these lines, shit. They broke your heart. Fuck them. Okay, cool. We'll leave that right there, and I bet you some crawler will come along and destroy this reading, plunging it into the depths of darkness, so maybe we should just do that right there. And an affirmation to keep you in one piece until the next time that we meet. What do we have for you? This is will be from the I Am Power Pack. What do we have for Gemini as an affirmation? Help them get through until August when we meet again. I'm hoping to also do some more weeklies, some little short weekly ones. But I can never keep anything to 1 minute, so they'll be like 3 minutes long or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to pull one for you, Gemini. Let's see what we can see. Oh, well, you are, but you know. Let's see. Oh, you got 3. 1, 2, 3. I guess I think you really, really need them. Well, I am empowered. I am worthy. I think we already talked about that, didn't we? And I am brave. Okay, that's what I have for you, Gems. We'll see you when we see you next. Don't freak out, but be inspired to take action in the way that is most appropriate for you. And know that absolutely you are empowered, you are worthy, and you are brave. Okay? We will see you when we see you next. Be good.